Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Mary Lee. It's good to have you with us. Coming up in this week's top stories, we take a look at the impact Tropical Storm Kong Ray has had on Taiwan and what Tzu Chi volunteers are doing to help. Tzu Chi's love knows no bounds as we travel to the South Pacific Ocean's American Samoa as volunteers place words of wisdom in a hotel to inspire guests. And Southern Africa Tzu Chi volunteers are holding a training seminar conducted in 3 languages so that all participating can absorb the wisdom. We start the show in Taiwan. Torrential rain from Tropical Storm Kong Ray caused severe flooding, especially in the central and southern regions, such as Xinhua District, Tainan. As the waters receded in the morning, Tzu Chi volunteers headed out to survey the disaster. Meanwhile, Taiwan's military personnel was also dispatched to assist in cleaning up. The devastation of the storm not only caused severe flooding to residential property, but also left some people with minor injuries. Let's take a look at the conditions.
Flooding rain brought by Tropical Storm Kong Ray caused a nearby river to flood its banks, leaving the Zhi Road in Xinhua District submerged underwater. The local residents faced floodwaters as high as 1 story. As the waters eventually receded, residents started cleaning up their homes. However, with furniture soaked in water and covered with mud, many didn't know where to start.
The water level reached the height of that electric fan. The water mark is over there. We had to flee upstairs or we would have drowned.
According to Mr. Lin, the floodwaters should cover the first story of their homes. Many of the local residents woke up in terror, like this elderly couple who were too terrified to leave their bedroom before the waters receded.
The floodwater rose nearly to the 2nd story. Over here, you see.
Early in the morning, 2 friends of the elderly couple arrived to help clean up.
The TV set was filled with mud and water. Let me show you. Look.
The military also sent soldiers to help the flood survivors clean up their homes.
There are 37 households in Zhi Borough that live in 3-story homes. The downpour brought by the tropical storm flooded this community, and as the rainfall continues, these residents remain in the state of apprehension.
In addition, the heavy rainfall caused the collapse of some houses in Xinhua's Darken Borough, leaving several injured. As for those living in low-lying areas, they were evacuated to temporary shelters.
Also in southern Taiwan, Jiayi County was among the region flooded by Tropical Storm Kong Ray. Tzu Chi volunteers delivered hot meals to those who were stuck at home and also visited their fellow counterparts to check up on them. Meanwhile, at the Dalian Tzu Chi Hospital, the medical staff took in 48 seniors from a nearby nursing home to ensure they were fed and well taken care of during this time.
Here at Dalian Tzu Chi Hospital, doctors from the emergency department patiently care for arriving senior residents and provide them with clothes and blankets. A nursing home nearby was flooded and residents had to be evacuated elsewhere.
We had to ask for help from our neighbors, and according to our standard operation procedure, this is the only place we could seek help from.
Tzu Chi volunteers were also on hand to cook hot meals and even ensured the food was sufficiently cooled off before feeding it to the seniors. Besides taking care of the 48 residents from the nursing home, volunteers and medical staff also brought words of comfort.
When they arrived, we first checked to see if they had any pressing medical needs, and secondly, because the rain and wind were strong and many of them got wet, we changed their clothes and gave them blankets and made sure that they were all settled before relocating them to another floor.
The seniors will remain at the hospital until their nursing home is cleaned and sanitized. As the floodwaters have inundated this community in Jiayi County, Tzu Chi volunteers immediately arrived with hot meals, knowing that many residents are still stuck at home.
Thank you, Tzu Chi Foundation, for bringing us warmth as we sit out the floods.
Knowing that the rain brought by Tropical Storm Conray flooded many areas in Jiayi, Tzu Chi volunteers did not forget to care for their fellow counterparts. As Tzu Chi volunteer Liao Shuzhen was cleaning her home, some male volunteers arrived to help her move the refrigerator elsewhere.
It was really heartwarming because everyone came to help.
Residents from low-lying areas have evacuated to temporary shelters. However, as most lived in a hurry, no one had clothes to change into. To help, medical staff from the Dalian Tzu Chi Hospital thoughtfully picked up second-hand clothing from recycling stations and delivered them into the hands of those in need.
Moving to Taichung City, Tropical Storm Conray has also brought heavy rainfall in Shalu District. After the flood retreated, many shops have reopened, while others continue to clean up their surroundings.
The recent Tropical Storm Conray has devastated many parts of Taiwan. Due to the excessive amount of rain, Taichung City's Shalu District was severely flooded. As soon as the water has receded, many local residents have started cleaning up their living surroundings because many areas are still covered by mud and dirt. According to many local residents, the flooding was so severe because the drainage system in the city does not work well. Thankfully, after a day of cleaning, many businesses have reopened. Local residents say, as long as they are safe, that's all it matters, because safety is something that money cannot buy.
In the aftermath of Tropical Storm Conray, Taichung City's Shalu District suffered from severe flooding, which at times was up to waist level. To help, Tzu Chi volunteers were mobilized to deliver hot meals to hungry residents. Here's more.
This is the Datong Street in Shalu District. With excessive rainfall, this area has turned into a river. Despite the flood water, some local residents were still out purchasing food. Meanwhile, Zhennan Road on the other side is also flooded.
Around 11 a.m., heavy rainfall came down and the low-lying areas were severely flooded. On the other hand, we see a restaurant over here that is also flooded. The owner said that he was preparing for business, but extreme rainfall has flooded his store.
In about 30 minutes, the water went up to waist high. It came really fast. Last year was like this too. This is the herbal stew rib soup, and the flood water has seeped into them. We can't sell these to customers anymore.
This store was damaged due to the flooding, and the store owner was forced to close down business for the day. Worrying that local residents might be hungry, Tzu Chi volunteers were mobilized to deliver hot meals.
We have prepared more than 100 lunch boxes and will continue to make more. Later, we will have a meeting to discuss the possible ways to help these flood survivors.
Seeing the senior resident cleaning up his house all by himself, Tzu Chi volunteers quickly walk over to care for him. With the heavy rainfall, many stores were damaged. Although Typhoon Trami from previous week had already left Shalu District waterlogged, Tropical Storm Conray has once again devastated the lives of these residents.
Moving to the South Pacific Ocean, American Samoa is an island territory of the United States with a total land area slightly larger than Washington, D.C. Recently, on August 24th, Tzu Chi volunteers brought these aphorisms in 4 languages to distribute to a local hotel in hopes of spreading Master Cheng Yen's words of wisdom far and wide.
Master Cheng Yen. Holding Jin's aphorisms and sending their greetings to Master Cheng Yen are local residents of American Samoa. In the aftermath of the 2009 Samoa tsunami, countless people lost their loved ones. These twin sisters have kept Tzu Chi's cash cards since then in order to remember Tzu Chi's assistance.
I had that debit card, the 300 card, to help my family to buy stuff that I need.
Really?
Yeah.
So it touching your heart?
Yeah. To thank her for giving us that card.
American Samoa is part of the Samoan Islands chain, located in the South Pacific Ocean. Its breathtaking landscape attracts countless tourists from around the globe. In the wake of the 2009 tsunami, which took nearly 200 people's lives, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived with aid supplies and emotional support.
At a tsunami distribution, we asked a priest to translate Master Zheng Yan's letter into Samoan. As he was translating, he was crying too, because the Master's words moved him.
Over the years, Tzu Chi volunteers have traveled to this island to not only offer care and love, but also to invite local residents to join them in practicing recycling. At their most recent visit, the volunteers brought in aphorisms volumes to place in local hotels.
This is the one, and then all the traveler or whoever stay there, there's 4 language, so they can open it and then give them some good wisdom.
In 1998, Tzu Chi's free clinic created a deep and lasting connection with Samoa. Over the past 15 years, the volunteers have continued to use their love and care in the service of the needy. Now they have introduced Master Zheng Yan's words of wisdom to the small island, bringing Tzu Chi into the lives of residents and travelers alike.
In Malaysia, Selangor and Kuala Lumpur, a Burmese refugee school was attacked by a group of Rohingyas a month ago. The assault was related to the religious conflict in northern Myanmar. To ensure the safety of the teachers and students, the school was later relocated. At the school's opening ceremony, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived with not only aid supplies, but also love and support.
Here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, a Burmese refugee school was attacked by the Rohingyas, an ethnic group practicing Islam. For the sake of the security of the teachers and students, the school was later relocated. To help get the school back on track after the move, Tzu Chi volunteers brought desks, chairs, stationery and computers to celebrate the school's reopening.
The refugee school has some 20 students and thus does not meet the standard for aid from the United Nations. So currently, Tzu Chi is providing the school with temporary assistance.
At the opening ceremony, volunteers used animated cartoons and games to teach the children the importance of teamwork.
The games taught us that we have to work as a team to succeed.
Here in this small classroom, there are no ethnic or religious barriers.
Today, I'm very happy because it is the opening ceremony of the school.
With Tzu Chi volunteers' continuous love and care, these teachers and students will find more strength as they move towards a better future.
Recently in South Africa, a one-day volunteer training seminar was held in Durban. Besides local volunteers, residents from Mozambique, Swaziland, and Lesotho also came to take part. To overcome language barriers, the seminar was conducted in 3 different languages: English, Zulu, and Portuguese. Although it took 3 times the effort to listen, everyone was glad for the opportunity to absorb such wisdom and hoped to take home what they've learned to continue walking the Tzu Chi path. A one-day volunteer training seminar was recently held in Durban, South Africa.
Okay, Mozambique.
The participants consisted of over 300 local volunteers from 4 different countries speaking 3 different languages.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We can now begin with our seminar.
The host of the event first starts the seminar in English. Next, a South African volunteer translates it into Zulu. Finally, a Mozambique volunteer, Paulo, says it again in Portuguese. It takes 3 times as long to listen to the lectures. However, no one complains as they take the opportunity to absorb the Dharma and take notes on what they have heard. Even during the prayer, meanings are translated for all to understand. For some volunteers, they not only have to conquer the language barrier, but also distance, like the volunteers from Lesotho, who drove through the night to arrive at the seminar, but were still ready to listen come morning. Tzu Chi volunteer Cai Dailing from Mozambique even brought her 3-year-old daughter along to take part. Durban New Shoot Scholarship recipients chipped in to help with registration and various miscellaneous tasks, so the event could get off without a hitch. The day of intensive training is only the beginning of the infinite possibilities of compassionate deeds these volunteers of Southern Africa can accomplish in the future. In the 5 countries that make up Southern Africa, Swaziland is the only one that does not have a Chinese Tzu Chi volunteer living in the country. Thus, Tzu Chi's work in the region is mainly carried out by Durban Tzu Chi volunteers from South Africa. Furthermore, Durban volunteers established a Swaziland unit as a part of a long-term plan to help the needy in the country. Let's take a look at the first distribution the Swaziland team recently carried out. In Swaziland, with the support of a local Chinese entrepreneur, the Tzu Chi Foundation finally has a service center, which also doubles as a storage area. Participating in moving the rice supplies, 75-year-old Sulei's strength is just as strong as those younger than her. The aid supplies are aimed at helping around 1,150 households in 10 communities. Leading local volunteers, this rice distribution is conducted entirely by native Durban Tzu Chi volunteers and will also be the first task the established Swaziland team carries out. Using both hands to present each recipient with aid supplies, these Durban Tzu Chi volunteers show that they have really taken the Dharma to heart. Some even bring over relief items to those who are resting underneath a tree. When a Tzu Chi van's tire was flat, a male volunteer hurried over to assist with repairs. When this team arrived in Swaziland, their passports were detained. Thankfully, an employee from a Chinese company assisted in releasing their documents. On the first day of the distribution, a community chief suddenly requested an increase from the original 380 households to 1,000 households. Fortunately, these Durban Tzu Chi volunteers patiently took the chief along to conduct one last home visitation and got the chief to change his mind. These 4 Durban Tzu Chi volunteers, averaging over 60 years of age, were able to overcome all obstacles that came up. The 6 days of aid distribution were challenging to the body but rewarding for the soul. As native Tzu Chi volunteers have taken the Master's Dharma to heart, Durban Tzu Chi volunteers from South Africa have established a team to reach out to the needy in Swaziland, showing that spreading seeds of compassion is not bound by obstacles or borders. Every year, a group of trainee priests from a church in Indonesia will carry out community service work to care for local residents. This year, 10 of them visited the Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter and joined Tzu Chi volunteers in home visitations and hospital volunteer work. After 3 weeks, the priests said they all hope to serve others, like how Tzu Chi volunteers give to those in need.
21-year-old Atika, who lost both of her legs to a vehicle accident, starts cleaning her house early in the morning, knowing that Tzu Chi volunteers will be visiting on this day. Atika had a difficult time coming to terms with her loss, but it was the support of Tzu Chi volunteers over the past 2 years that has helped the girl see life in a new light. Besides helping pay her medical expenses, volunteers also provide her with prosthetic legs.
A girl like Akita is working so hard for her life. We healthy people should work even harder to help those in need. It is like what Master Zhengyan says. We should be as compassionate as the Buddha and love all sentient beings.
These young men wearing Tzu Chi's volunteer vest are in fact trainee priests from a Catholic church in Indonesia. They are making the most of their school break to join Tzu Chi volunteers as they go about their charity work.
I learned about the spirit of selfless giving from Tzu Chi volunteers. They are providing really meaningful assistance to those in need and also giving them the courage to face their future.
I'm really happy to be able to learn from Tzu Chi volunteers. Besides medical assistance, Tzu Chi volunteers also accompany patients and their families. This is something I have never experienced before.
Before I came to Tzu Chi to learn how to sort recyclables, I had no idea that these PET bottles can be turned into blankets. This trip to Tzu Chi has helped us gain a lot.
After the 3-week program came to an end, volunteers organized a farewell party for the priest, with one of them even expressing a desire to learn Chinese.
Tzu Chi's humanitarian spirit is truly wonderful. If we can learn Chinese, we will be able to understand the organization better and speak the language fluently.
Though from a different religion, the training priests, like the Tzu Chi volunteers, vowed to reach out to every needy corner with love and to set a good example in society.
Terima kasih kepada Master Cheng Yen dan Yayasan Buddha Suci Indonesia.
As summer holidays are coming to an end, Nanjing Tzu Chi volunteers in China are carrying out their home visitations to prepare for the upcoming scholarship award ceremony. This time, a few former scholarship recipients joined the volunteers on the journey to share in the experience of helping others. Many also walked away with valuable lessons that will last them a lifetime. In Nanjing, China, Tzu Chi volunteers and previous scholarship recipients are starting home visitations to prepare for next semester's financial aid packages.
We want to get to know their family's financial situation to see if we can accurately help them in a correct direction.
Despite feeling ill during the trip, everyone insisted on continuing on with the journey.
Tzu Chi has helped me enormously. I want to help others too, so that I may pass on the love to even more people.
Parents of scholarship recipients have noticed a change of behavior in their children as well.
In the past, she would not say a word to me, but would just take my money. Now my daughter is much more respectful towards me.
Real happiness is not about how much you possess, but how little we bicker over the trivials.
For these children, however, true blessings are not hard to attain, as they only seek security in their studies.
Previously, my father would borrow money from others to help pay for my tuition fee when he couldn't make ends meet. But now that I have received financial assistance, I no longer have to worry about money. I can just concentrate on my studies.
In participating in today's home visitations, I saw these students live on $300 to $400 a month. It really made me reflect on how much I spend a month. From now on, I will donate a portion of my money to help the needy.
In learning to share their love with others, these scholarship recipients are well on their way to walking the Tzu Chi path. At the end of the show, we follow up with cleanup work of Tropical Storm Kong Rui in Yunlin County, where Tzu Chi volunteers hurry to conduct a disaster survey and offer their services to help. Seeing solitary seniors who needed assistance in clearing debris, volunteers immediately rolled up their sleeves and got to work. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for watching. See you next week.